here, one of the veterans in the sport as well. He's working double duty out here. In addition to being a pro rider, he is also full-time in the United States military. He is in the United States Army, just got back from a tour over in Afghanistan not too long ago, and is fresh back on the bike after injury. Only been back on the bike here for a couple of days now, and they're back out here ready to throw down for you guys out here at the Big Time Action Sports Show. A native Texan, he's out of the city of Kaufman. Make some noise for Mr. Steve Gore. And last but definitely not least, rounding out the order here this afternoon, our final box jump rider. He too, one of the veterans in the sport, and well, he's going to be throwing down over this ramp for you. You'll see a wide variety of tricks out of him. You'll see some technical tricks a little bit later on, what we call lip tricks, where you work at the top edge of the ramp. You'll see him flying through the air. He's got all kinds of combo moves. See him throwing out moves like that 540 deck check right there. You name it, this guy can throw it down on a BMX bike. He's another native Texan as well, originally from San Antonio. He now resides right here in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. What do you say, everybody? Let's put those hands together for Brandon Tompkins. Well, there you go. You got a chance to meet the fellas. You know just a little bit about them, where they come from. Right now, we're going to cut them loose and let them do their thing. And well, while we run our show, we just send these guys out here and let them throw down as many tricks as they're feeling. And like I told you at the top of the show, they like to hear you making some noise out there. So come on, let's get it pumped up out there. For Mr. Keith Grant. Let them know you appreciate his skills, because that's how it works. They hear you guys screaming and yelling and carrying on out there. Let them know y'all are having a good time. But when that happens, gets the blood pumping, gets the adrenaline flowing, and then you never know what these guys are liable to throw down for you out here today. They like to start it off kind of mellow, ease their way into things, and as the show progresses, they'll start ramping things up and showing you some of their harder tricks. Speaking of typical tricks right here, check this one out. Gets on that bike vertical, straddling the head tube. Look how he gets his feet on those pedals and getting very, very close to the front bumper of that Astro Van, and he knew it was right there all along, and slams that one back to the pedals. And well, that's what it's all about with this flatland riding. You want to go out and you want to pull up the various tricks, as you see Pete doing right here, but no matter what sort of crazy position you get into on that bike, and trust me, there will be some wild ones like this on the front pegs right there. That's called a hitchhiker, a brakeless maneuver, by the way. You'll see him doing tricks on the front tire, on the back tire. He'll be standing on various parts of the frame of the bike, and there'll be lots of spins, and sometimes the bike will even be upside down. But no matter how tangled up he gets on that thing, no matter where those feet wind up, get that bike right side up, get your feet back on those pedals without touching down on the ground. And well, every now and then you throw a little flare into the mix there, a little 180 bunny hop coming out of that one and making that trick look way, way too easy. Coming into another big balance move right here, leaning over the crossbar, the handlebars there, one-footed on that one. Look where he puts that right foot, just feather touching on that right handle grip there, pumps that one around and back to the pedals. Again, another no-handed maneuver, and that one was brakeless as well. Once you see him get his feet in some of these crazy positions that he does on that bike, he's got absolutely no way of hitting those brakes. So these brakeless maneuvers definitely raising the level of difficulty. You're up in the ante when you're doing the brakeless maneuvers, because basically it's all about balance and it's all about bicycle control. Well, bike control, that's the name of the game when it comes to these flatland maneuvers. And you know what? Combo moves don't hurt either. If you can combine several tricks into one run with what these guys call a link, that'll also help you out quite a bit when you're doing shows or going to competitions. And wrapping that one up with what's called a decade, jumping around the head tube of the bike, stomping right back to the pedals. What do you say, everybody? Let's hear it for Pete Brandt starting it off for us out here. We'll take a little breather. We'll turn it over to Steve and Brandon down there. What do you guys think? You guys want to see some ramp riding out here now? We get these guys in the mix. They're going to show you a series of tech tricks here that we call lip tricks. And again, they like to start it off kind of mellow, work their way into some of the bigger stuff. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the world of action sports, the top of any ramp is known as a lip. So a lip trick is the technical stuff where you go up and ride along on the edge like you see these guys doing right here. Brandon get the mix with a 360 tire tap. You guys right there. I know everyone loves to see the big air stuff. They like to see the high flying tricks. But sometimes the lip tricks are actually even tougher than some of the aerial maneuvers. Steve was trying something there called the tail whip, and Brandon following through right there. The tail whip, where the frame of the bike goes at 360, the body and the handlebars don't move, but instead of stalling on the tire like Steve tried to do, he goes to what we call disaster, where he just smashes the sprocket right there on the lip of the ramp. Steve Gore giving another shot there. There's that tail whip, but this time around throwing it on a 4-foot transition. Now that's the kind of trick you'd see a guy do on a half pipe or a big 8 or 9 foot quarter pipe transition, but it's really hard to do on a 4-foot box jump transition. And speaking of difficulty right there, how about Brandon with that 360 coming in fakie or backwards. Fakie's a universal term in skateboarding and BMX. It's whenever you go into a trick backwards or land it backwards, and well, that adds a little bit of added degree of difficulty to the mix, because anytime you're going backwards, you can't spot your landing. You're kind of blindsided. You can't really see where you're going there. Steve going manual the wrong way across the box jump, and Brandon showing, hey, I got a little bit of flatland skills as well, trying that tail whip on the flat ground. It's one thing seeing it on the ramp, and then seeing somebody trying to do it on the flat ground. Check out Steve. There's that fakie version I was talking about again. Stalling on that back tire and then coming in backwards. A very, very difficult thing to do, because again, when you're coming in backwards, you're blindsided. You can't see where you're going. You can't really spot your landing. Check this one out. To the back tire, to the back bag. Check out that balance. Front tire, never touching the top of the ramp. Holding that one. See, he's actually going to just have a seat and just relax on that one right there. It's called an ice pick. When you stall on that back bag, hangs onto that one for a good 45 seconds, and then drops in backwards on that once again. How about it? A big round of applause down there for Steve Gore and Brandon Tompkins. What do you guys think so far? Anybody impressed yet? You guys having any fun out here? A little bit? Well, like I said earlier, the boys are holding back right now. They're teasing you just a little bit. So right now, we'll get them back out here, and we'll start to ramp it up a notch and start to show you some of the harder tricks. So once again, I got to hear you guys making some noise out there for our Flatland rider, Mr. P. Again, with the front tire tricks. Brakes, you look at the handlebars, he's only rocking one set of brakes right there. He's only got the lever on the left side. That means he only has a front brake on that bike of his. Now, a lot of flatland guys, they'll run 2 brakes. Brakes are very important to a lot of these flatland maneuvers. You got to be able to stop your trajectory and kind of position yourself to start moving opposite directions when you're out there in the middle of these tricks. Pete here says, you know what? I'm going to raise the level of difficulty here. I'm not going to use a back brake. Now, that's kind of dicey, because he does a lot of back tire tricks like you see him doing right here. So again, that's no brake there. It's all balanced, and it gets extra dicey when you start taking those hands off the bike like you just saw him do there for about a half a second. Pegs, there's 4 of those on that bike. If you don't know what those are for, well, they're basically there for 4 extra platforms for his feet when he's out there in the middle of these tricks. Every now and then he uses them for handle when he's doing some upside down tire variations where he's holding on to the front of that thing. Pegs are also cool if you're going to ride your buddies around town on the back of your bike. I'm sure you guys use a lot of your pegs for it. The ramp riders have them down there as well, but they'll use them for slightly different purposes, like you saw earlier when Brandon did that ice pick stall up on a very lengthy ice pick stall, no less, up on that the box jump. Check that one out. I've been doing chills for a long time, and I don't know too many flatland riders that can get in that position on that bike and still crank those pedals. And you see how he uses those pegs. He'll stand on the back ones to kind of help garner him into position for that trick right there. And sometimes when he sets up for these moves where he's hanging onto the front tire, it's like that extra set of handlebars for him there. He says, I got one more. What do you think? You guys want to see one more out of Pete right now? Alright, setting up for this one. To the front tire, doing some frame whips here. Hanging onto the seat, goes backwards into a fakie, a reverse hitchhiker there. The hitchhiker, when you get the bike vertical, you're standing on the front pegs, but he was rolling backwards on that one. I'm pretty sure they called it a reverse hitchhiker. I'll have to get with Pete on that one for the technical jargon. I'm a skateboarder myself. I just figured out some BMX tricks throughout the course of the last 15 years. Either way, it was rad. You guys should make some noise for him there. One more time. Big Grant. Sending it for you guys out here, Flatland style. All right, he'll take a little breather. We'll turn it back over to Steve and Brandon down there. You saw these guys warm up with some lip tricks. Now we're going to cut them loose and let them jump the box jump here. You see him in the air, you got to make some noise. Look at that tire grab. courtesy of Mr. Gore to start it off. What's Mr. Tompkins going to follow through with? He's got a tire grab as well. They've got some of the same tricks, but they each have their own different distinctive style of what they do and how they do it. I should throw this out there as well. It's a little windy out here. It doesn't seem that bad when you're on the ground, but when you're up in the air, it's definitely not fun. I'm out now a textbook no-hander there, courtesy of Steve Gore. The wind is definitely not fun when you're up in the air, and it's kind of blowing towards the school building there. You can see the flags over there. They're blowing pretty hard, so a little bit of wind when you're doing BMX tricks. Not your friend, but these guys are going through the motions anyway, so you should make an extra lot for him there. But Steve saw the no-hander. There's a no-footer. Brandon did something earlier called the tabletop or the invert. Let's see what he's got this time around with an X. That trick gets its name because when you're flying through the air, you kind of cross the handlebars up in midair, so it kind of makes an X shape while you're flying it through the air. These guys are obviously feeling your energy because they're coming back around. They're going to send some more your way. I'm going to tomahawk style one-footer, courtesy of Mr. Gore there. Gets that bike vertical, almost supercross style on that one. Kind of a hybrid between a one-footer and almost a knack-knack, the way he swings that leg back around off to the left side of that bike. Brandon being a little iffy with the wind on that one there. That's all right. That happens sometimes. You go up and you want a variation of the wind's gusting like that. You say, wait a minute, I got to reset. Maybe we'll give him one more crack at this one here. The wind definitely, like I said, it's a factor, and the slightest little gust can completely blow you off of what you're trying to do in the little trick, and they don't want to see anybody getting hurt out here today. So he says, you know what? I'll come back for more of this later on in the show. In the meantime, I think it's time to give out some posters. Who wants a poster out here? He's trying to get you guys fired up. Steve's got one down here too. You guys already unload those? Those guys aren't messing around. They're quick. Look at Steve. He went deep. He went all the way about 6 rows back. I like that. Steve's looking out for everybody in the back row there. There we go. We got more of those we'll give out a little bit later on. We're going to switch things up a little bit. Our reason for being out here today, it's all about showing you guys a good time. It's all about entertainment. We're also here to talk to you guys about a couple of important things as well. After all, that's what we do here at Big Time Action Sports. So right now, I'm going to direct your attention to the top of the box jump here and Mr. Gore. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the equipment that these guys are on here today, as well as safety. Now, the bikes that you see these guys on here today, they're a lot like the bikes that you guys ride, with a few minor exceptions. These things are beefed up a little bit. They've got some more, they've got reinforced welding in the back of the bike, what we call the dropouts. That's the area in the back where the back tire will bolt onto the frame of the bike. That's a reinforced area because that takes a lot of brunt of the impact when these guys do some of their harsher landings. The bottom end of the bike, what we call the bottom bracket, where the sprocket goes in there, that's reinforced welding as well, and they have special crank arms. The crank arms are the things that hold the pedals on right there, and those have to be reinforced as well for some of the harsher impacts that these guys take when they're out there doing the tricks. The forks are beefed up a little bit more, as well as the handlebars, and for the exact same reason I was talking about earlier. When you're doing some of these big jumps or you're riding vert and whatnot, you definitely don't want your forks spinning on you or your handlebars snapping off when you're in the middle of these tricks. So that's a little bit about the equipment that these guys are actually riding on, and then it all comes down to the safety gear. Now, you take a good look at Steve here. He is wearing shin guards on underneath those jeans. Now, shin guards are very, very important. The reason for that being, you take a good look at these BMX pedals, they've got these little sharp nubs coming out of them there. Now, the idea is that those things will grip the underside of your shoes when you're doing these tricks so your feet aren't slipping all over the place. That's the upside. The downside is if you slip your pedals in the middle of a trick and you rake your shins on those pedals, it does not feel good. And as you can see by the holes there on Steve's jeans, he saved himself from some pretty good scrapes over the years. I got a couple of pretty good scars on my shins from previous experiences where I didn't have any shin guards on. They do have knee pads on. The knee pads are on underneath the jeans. Doing this without knee pads would be career suicide, because basically, if you go down, it happens. These guys are pros, but they still fall. The knee pads will take the brunt of the impact. Now, why do they wear them underneath the jeans? Well, when they're doing some of these tricks where they're spinning the handlebars around or turning them one way or the other, sometimes the brake levers will have a tendency to get caught up in some bulkier knee pads, and if that happens, you go down quick. So that's why the BMX guys will wear the pads on underneath their jeans, but they do sport the knee pads. They're wearing gloves, helps keeps your hands from getting chewed up for the brake levers, whatnot, and it also helps for gripping the bike because your hands get sweaty when you're doing this. But the most important piece of equipment that you see any one of these guys wearing out here today is what? Helmet. That's absolutely right. Like I said, these guys are pros, but even the pros fall, and that's why they wear the helmet. So we're here to talk about helmet safety. Why? Because you should be wearing your helmet every time you guys go out and ride your bike. Now, not only is it important, it's also a law here in the greater Dallas area. So basically, it takes a second to put that thing when you go out and ride. And the deal is you're not riding around, accidents happen. It doesn't matter if you're out trying to do some trick riding or if you're out just cruising around your neighborhood with some friends. Accidents happen. That's why they call them accidents, because you don't know when they're going to happen. And nowadays, people are driving around way too fast. They've got a lot of distractions behind the wheel. They're messing around with the radio. They're playing with their cell phones. They're not really paying attention to what's going on. And anything can happen at any given moment when you're out there on that bike. And if you're wearing your helmet and something does happen, it can save you from some serious injuries. It can also save your life. And as I said before, it only takes a second to put that thing on, and it could save your life. So when we go out and ride our bikes, so what are we going to wear? Helmets. That's absolutely right. What do you guys think? You want to see some more out here this afternoon? You guys ready for some more? I think it's time to change things up right now, Pete. What do you think? Is it time to pick on some people? I think it's time. This is the part of the show where we get to pick on some of your teachers. You guys like that idea, huh? I have a list right here of several names. I'm not going to say who gave me this list. Who should we call on this? We've got two misters and a miss. Let's get Mr. Chi-Chi out here. Hello, Mr. Chi-Chi. I'd say by that round of applause, we have chosen wisely. Mr. Chi-Chi, come on down. How you doing, sir? I'm Jimmy. We need you to lay down right there on the ground, Mr. Chi-Chi, with your feet towards the students, your head towards me. On your back. All right, well, Mr. Chi-Chi, I need your legs flat on the ground, your arms down at your side. Whatever you do, don't move. And the important thing here is smile. Now, see, everybody's getting up for this one. You want to know what we're going to do? We're going to have Pete here jump over Mr. Chi-Chi. What do you guys think about that one? All right, hold on a second, guys. All you guys in the front row, back up. Everybody back up behind that cone right there. You guys in the very front row, if you guys could all sit down. There we go. Thank you. And everybody's excited about this. We don't want anybody getting run over. Especially Mr. Chi-Chi here.
Sit down, sit down.
So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get Pete to jump over him right now. What do you guys think about that idea? You guys excited about this?
Yeah.
Everyone is excited about this with Mr. Chi-Chi. Are you ready, Pete? Pete looks a little concerned down there. He's stretching out. He's doing some calisthenics. Here we go. You want him to jump over Mr. Chi-Chi? There you go. I know. That's us being dorks, so we're trying to be funny right now. You wanted him to jump over him with the bike, right?
I want you to jump over.
Don't worry, we don't get any funnier. All right, here we go. With the bike this time, Pete. Are you ready? Here we go. Ask and you shall receive. Jumps over with the bike. Thank you, and good night. No? You want him, wait, let me get this straight. You want him to physically pedal towards this teacher and then ride the bike over him? Like this? That was easy. That was too easy. Sure, whatever you want to believe on that one. Well, that was too easy, so we're going to add 2 more to the mix. We need Mr. K and Miss June.